grab all of those. Right, okay.
Jack, where on earth have you been?
Yeah, I got delayed.
Yeah, we know that. What happened?
Well, I'll tell you both about it later. Right, come on, let's get a move on. Otherwise, we'll miss the start line.
We've been saying the same thing for the past 10 minutes, waiting for you.
Well, I'm here now, so what's the problem?
Jenny isn't here.
Why not?
Because we sent her into town looking for you.
Well, that's not my fault, is it? Jenny knows, like any other crew member, there's a penalty for being late.
Jack, we can't just leave her.
No, you just watch. Tony, get that jib out. Stand by to cast off, Bill.
Well, there are advantages in floating a company on the unlisted securities market, but there are also disadvantages, Jan.
Such as?
Well, for a start, you'd be accountable to shareholders.
Well, with the situation the way it is at the bank at the moment, I can't be in a worse position than I am now.
Ah, well, that would depend on the trading price of our shares.
Oh, come on, Robert. You know as well as I do that a company with a track record of House of Howard is bound to attract interest, especially with our new line in cosmetics.
Then there's a question of cost. You're going to have to think in terms of at least £200,000 to finance a flotation.
Alternatively, Jan, you could raise capital privately.
Well, from someone like Charles Freer. I think I stand a better chance of retaining control with shareholders.
Always provided you release only a minority shareholding onto the market.
Do you think you can persuade the board to go along with it?
I can try. You'll certainly have my vote, and I presume Robert's.
Of course.
Look, why don't we sound out the others at the board meeting this afternoon? Take it from there.
Agreed.
No doubt Robert will let you know how we get on.
Thank you. I'm very grateful for your help this morning.
My pleasure.
Louise. Francis. You still don't think I'm making the right decision, do you?
Oh, I think it's worth looking at all the options. I just want you to be aware of the risks. That's all, Jan.
Jan Howard.
Jan, you're a difficult woman to get hold of. Been trying to get through all morning.
I've been in a meeting.
How about lunch?
Why?
Something important I need to talk to you about.
Well, you gotta hand it to the old man. He's consistent. Never changes strategy. Always arrives early, trying to catch everyone off guard.
I think he succeeded. But just remember to watch everything you say and don't give him another opportunity.
Are you okay?
How are you feeling?
Excited. I'm a bit nervous. I've waited so long for this.
In any way, I would.
But working with Ken closely as you do, you must have access to information.
Marketing skewer.
Well, what about his plans for Leisure Cruise?
Well, if he has got any plans for Leisure Cruise, he certainly hasn't confided in me.
And you have no idea where he's getting his backing from?
No, none whatsoever.
Well, then, don't you think you ought to try and find out? You know how ambitious Ken is. I'm sure he's not only interested in taking over Leisure Cruise.
And what's that supposed to mean? He set his sights on Relton Marine?
Oh, nothing would surprise me. Look how he came out of nowhere to take control of the Puelma Corporation.
That needn't concern you, Laura. Puelma was ripe for takeover.
What does Pierre say about all this?
Well, I haven't discussed it with him.
I hear he's been elected to the Puelma board.
Yes, so he told me. But that's his business. Not yours, nor mine.
Nevertheless, I would have thought that a man with Pierre's influence in the business world could have discovered where Ken's backing was coming from.
I don't think Pierre is interested in getting into a power struggle between you and Ken, Laura.
No, but I'm sure he would be open to persuasion.
He's arriving from Paris this afternoon. Why don't you discuss it with him yourself?
Well, I'm not so close to Pierre as you are, Avril.
I keep my personal relationships quite separate from business, Laura.
Pity. You know, we've been friends a long time. I was hoping I could count on your support.
If I could help in any way, I would.
No, you say you would. But when it comes down to it, when I really need your support, it's just not there, is it?
Well, it's good to see you, Oren.
And you, sir?
Your Mom and I expected you on the weekend.
Abby and I decided to leave for Bermuda early.
Uh-huh. And you let me down.
I called, left a message.
I wasn't expecting a message. I was expecting you and Abby. I had a party arranged. Guests were real disappointed when you didn't show.
By the time we'd seen the attorneys in New York...
I don't want excuses, Oren. You make arrangements with me in the future, and you better make damn sure you stick with them. You understand me?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now, what's all this I hear about the boat race?
It was a pushover.
You didn't let me down there, my boy, huh?
Thought about him every day. About our meeting. What I'd say. And I'd try to explain myself.
Come on, darling. Don't get yourself so upset.
What I'd done to him. Poor little boy doesn't even know his own mother.
He will. He just didn't recognize you, that's all. Just give him a bit of breathing space. Ah, got company. Let's go welcome Charles. Take a break, Sally. Come on, big fella. There's someone your grandpa wants you to meet. Charles, how's it going?
I'm fine, thanks. Good seeing you again. Oren?
Charles? Lynn, how are you?
Fine.
Lynn, I don't believe you've met Oren's father, have you?
No.
That's for sure. I'd never forget the face of such a beautiful gal, Charles.
Lynn Dupont, Robert Hudson.
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure's all mine, Lynn, I assure you.
And how are you, young man? Don't suppose you remember me, do you?
Well, don't take any offense at that, Charles. He doesn't recognize his own mom and dad. Isn't that something? I can never figure out what goes on in the kid's mind. You know, he's been away no time at all, and he just treats them like total strangers.
I bet I know what you'd like. How about a piggyback ride from your dad, huh?
Come on. There you go. I was sorry to hear about Sir Edward, Charles. News came as a hell of a shock.
Yes, it was a hell of a shock to us all.
I'm sure he'd be real upset if he knew the trouble that will of his has caused.
Oh, let's not kid ourselves, Robert. My father knew exactly what he was doing when he drew up the terms and conditions of his will. You know that as well as I do.
Well, Edward was always one for stirring things up, I'll give you that. Good friend, but a hell of a troublemaker.
He liked to think so.
Well, I hope we don't have to give that opportunity now. We're all intelligent people, Charles. There's no reason why we can't sit around a table and work something out without having to rely on attorneys to do it for us.
I'm perfectly willing to give it a try. Just can't guarantee the end results, that's all.